This is Grandma with another story. This one's about a kangaroo and her little child. I don't have a stuffed kangaroo to hold up. I thought I did, but we'll just remember in our head what a kangaroo looks like, okay? This book is called Katy No Pocket. What a funny name, isn't it? And this book was written by Emmy Payne, and the pictures are by H.A. Ray. That name may not be familiar to you, but it's actually the same artist that drew the pictures for the Curious George books, which those I bet you know about. Okay, here's a picture. On the opening page, it shows a little tiny kangaroo hopping after a mommy kangaroo. See? Some deer in the woods watching and smiling. Looks like maybe they know each other. They're probably friends. Okay, well this is how the story starts. That's just a picture of the characters in the book. But here's how it starts. Big tears rolled down Katy Kangaroo's brown face. Poor Katy was crying because she didn't have a pocket like other mother kangaroos. Freddie was Katy Kangaroo's little boy, and he needed a pocket to ride in. All grown-up kangaroos take awfully big hops, and little kangaroos like Freddie get left far behind unless their mothers have nice pockets to carry them in. And poor Katy didn't have any pocket at all. Look at her. Look at the tears are just falling down her face. I don't know if you can see, but they are. And her little boy Freddie's looking at her kind of like, "What's wrong, Mama?" And here's these other mommy kangaroos hopping, and if you can see, each one of them has a little pouch in their tummy with their baby inside. That's how God made kangaroos. They can carry their babies when they're little. But this mommy didn't have a pouch. Katy Kangaroo cried just thinking about it, and then Freddie cried too. Oh, it's hard to see our mommies cry, isn't it? Then all of a sudden, Katy had a wonderful idea. It was so wonderful, she jumped 6 feet up in the air. Kangaroos can jump pretty high. The idea was this. Other animal mothers had children, and they didn't have any pockets. So she'd go and ask one of them how they carried their babies. Makes sense, doesn't it? They didn't have pockets, they carried their babies, they must have a good way to do it. Well, Freddie looked all around to see whom to ask, and Katy looked all around to see too. And what they both saw were two bubbles rising up from the river right beside them. Here they are, thinking and looking and looking and looking. And then what do they see? Oh my goodness. Look at the bubbles are coming up onto the top, and they see those two bubbles. And what do they say? They know that's the crocodile mommy. "Mrs. Crocodile," said Katy, feeling lots better already. "She hasn't any pocket. Let's ask her." A lot of big muddy bubbles came up through the water, and I don't know if you saw in that picture, the mommy crocodile, look who's right next to her. A smiling baby crocodile. So she came out of the water and she said, and then Mrs. Crocodile stuck her head up and opened her enormous mouth and smiled. "Why, Katy Kangaroo, what can I do for you today?" "Oh, please, Mrs. Crocodile, I am so sad," said Katy. "I have no pocket, and Freddie has to walk wherever we go, and he gets so tired. He just has little baby legs." "Oh dear, oh dear." And she started to cry again. Oh, the crocodile began to cry too. Oh my goodness. And then she said, but what can I do?" "You can tell me how to carry Freddie," said Katy. "How do you carry little Catherine Crocodile?" "Oh, do please tell me." "Why, I carry her on my back, of course," said Mrs. Crocodile. She was so surprised that anyone shouldn't know that she forgot to cry anymore. So there is Katy and Freddie listening to Mrs. Crocodile. And there she is. Look at Catherine even has a dress and a bow on. My goodness. And a little toy. A little baby toy. And Mrs. Crocodile says, "Why, on my back, of course." There are some other animals that do that too, right? And let me tell you, not every crocodile is as friendly and sweet as that one. Don't run up and ask any of them questions, okay? Please. Katy, but this is a book, right? Katy was pleased. She said, "Oh, thank you." And as soon as she got to a good squatting down place, she squatted and she said, "Now, Freddie, climb on my back. After this, it will be so simple, no trouble at all." And there they are. She got squatted down on her all four legs, and then he climbed up on top, and he held on, and they smiled at each other. And then, whoops, as she took off, here she is. What happened? Wow! He went flying. It wasn't that simple, as I'm going to read. In the first place, Freddie could not crawl up onto her back because his knees stuck out, so that took some time. He couldn't hang on because his front legs were too short. And when he did manage to hang on, and you can see it's not very easy for him to hold on there, when he did manage to hang on for just a few minutes, Katy gave one long hop and he fell off, like we saw, bump, bang, with a terrific thump. So Katy saw that she could not carry her baby on her back. That sounds kind of painful for poor Freddie, doesn't it? Well, Katy and Freddie sat down again and thought and thought. What can we do? I know. I'll ask Mrs. Monkey. I'm sure she can help me. So Katy and Freddie set off for the forest, and very soon they found Mrs. Monkey. She had her young son, Jocko, with her, and Katy Kangaroo hurried so to catch up with them that she was almost out of breath by the time they got there. But finally, she managed to speak. "Please, Mrs. Monkey, how do you carry Jocko?" "Why, in my arms, of course," said Mrs. Monkey. "How else would any sensible animal carry anything?" And she whisked away through the trees. There's Freddie and his mommy Katy looking at Mrs. Monkey. And there she is. "Why, in my arms, of course," she's saying. There's another little friend up in the tree, another child, and there is Jocko the monkey with his mommy. Isn't that cute? We saw some monkeys like that at Disney World. "Well, oh dear," said Katy, and a great big tear ran across her long nose. "I can't carry anything in these short little arms," because Kangaroo's arms, as you saw, were not very long. Oh dear, she wasn't any help at all. What are we going to do? And what do you think she did? She just sat down and cried harder than ever. Oh, poor Freddie. He hated to see his mother cry. So he put his paw to his head, and he thought, and he thought, and he thought. "What about the lion?" he asked when Katy stopped crying a little bit. "They don't carry their children. The poor things walk just the way you do." Oh, let me fix that voice. "They don't carry their children. The poor things walk just the way you do," said Katy. And there's a picture of the lions going for a walk. Mr. Lion, Mrs. Lion, and their family. And they're just walking, and they're not carrying their babies, are they? No? "Well, there's birds," said Freddie. "How do they carry their babies?" "Birds," said Katy. "The mother birds push their children out of the nest, and they squawk and shriek and flap their wings about." They push them out of the nest when they're teaching them how to fly. They don't just let them get hurt. They let them fall, and then they learn to open up their wings, and pretty soon they're flying like this. But they're not holding them, are they? That's the whole question that Katy has. And all at once, Katy Kangaroo stopped crying, and she looked at Freddie. They do say that the owl knows almost everything, she said slowly. Well, then for goodness sake, let's ask him, said Freddie. And they found the old owl asleep in an old dead tree. Well, here they are, Mrs. Katy, Mommy Katy, saying, I have an idea. Let's ask the owl. He's supposed to know everything. And Freddie agreed. There the owl is sleeping. Owls sleep during the day, and they're awake at night. I bet you knew that. Yep. Well, when they talked to the owl, he was cross because he didn't want to be waked up in the middle of the day. But when he saw that Katy was so sad, he came out, blinking and ruffling his feathers, and said in a scratchy voice, Well, what is it? Speak up, and speak loudly. I'm deaf as a post. Means he couldn't hear very well. So Katy stood under the tree and screamed at him. I won't scream at you, but I'll just do it a little louder. I'm a mother kangaroo, and I haven't a pocket to carry my child in. How shall I carry him? What shall I do? Here she is, yelling up at Mr. Owl in the tree with Freddie in her hand down here. And here's the owl. He looks pretty friendly, even though he just woke up. Get a pocket, said the owl, and he went back to sleep again. Where? Cried Katy. Oh, please don't go to sleep before you tell me where. The owl said, How should I know? They sell that sort of thing in the city, I believe. Now kindly go away and let me sleep. The city, said Katy, and she looked at Freddie with big round eyes. Look at that. She's like, ooh, the city. She hadn't thought of that. Of course, we'll go to the city. Katy was so excited that she almost left Freddie behind as she went leaping over bushes and hopping along the path, singing in a sort of hummy way, a little song she had just made up. Hippity hoppity flippity floppity, wasn't it a pity? I didn't know excuse me, I didn't know it was to the city I should go. There she is, running as fast as she can, and who's trying to keep up? Little Freddie. The sign there, you can't see it probably real well, but it says, to the city, speed limit 25 miles per hour. You know, kangaroos can go pretty fast. I don't know how fast she was going, but poor Freddie couldn't keep up because he didn't have a pocket to ride in with her, did he? And his legs were short. She hopped so fast that Freddie could hardly keep up. But at last, they left the woods behind and they came to the city. Oh my goodness, where there were stores and houses and automobiles. It looked a lot different than the woods. The people all stared and stared at Katy, but she didn't even notice it. She was looking for pockets, and she saw that almost everybody had them. Now look at that. That's a lot different picture than the woods, isn't it? And you've all been to a town where you've seen lots of buildings, I'm sure, and cars and buses. And the cars and buses look a little more old-fashioned because this book was written several years ago, a while back. Well, she noticed that, like I said, that everyone seemed to have a pocket. And then, all at once, she saw, she could hardly believe it, a man who seemed to be all pockets. He was simply covered with pockets. Big pockets, little pockets, medium-sized pockets. Now, I don't know if you can see very well which man that is. And it is a funny picture because how many times have we seen kangaroos and they're, a mom and a baby kangaroo in a downtown setting? No. They come from the country of what, do you know? Australia. But in America, we usually don't see them except in a zoo. Yeah. But this one, I was showing you that. There is a man covered with pockets, and this is the man right here. It looks like he has a toolbox there, He's smoking a pipe and was walking down the street. And you'll see better in the next picture what I mean about all his pockets, because they're hard to see in that picture. Well, Katy went right up to this man and laid a paw on his arm. He was a little frightened. You know, have a kangaroo come up to him and touch him and then talk to him. But Katy looked at him with her soft brown eyes and said, "Please, dear, kind man, where did you get all those pockets?" "These pockets," he said. "You want to know where I got all these pockets? Why, they just came with the apron, of course." "You mean you can really get something to put on with all those pockets already in it?" asked Katy. "Sure you can," said the man. "I keep my hammer and nails and tools in my pocket. But I can get, or pockets, lots of pockets. But I can get another apron, so I'll give you mine." Wow, is he nice? Look at that. Now you can see his pockets. He has tools in his pockets, like he was saying. All these different tools, and were handy for him because he was apparently some kind of repairman. And here's the picture that shows like a measuring ruler and another tool in a pocket, just showing you that his pockets were full of things like that. But he said, "I'll get another apron and I'll give you mine." What a nice guy. So he took off his apron. He turned it upside down so all the pockets would shake out and all kinds of things came out and turned out of the pockets. What do you think fell out? Well, you bet if you think of some tools, you get an idea. A saw, a wrench, some nails, a hammer, a drill, and just lots of other tools. And then the man shook the apron hard and turned it right side up again. And what do you think he did? First, let's look at the picture of him shaking all those tools out. You can see the box of nails spilled all over. And he looks like he's pretty happy about it. Look at that. He's smiling. He's a nice guy, like I said. Katy was so pleased and excited because this is what he did. He put it on her. And look at, there's the ties in the back, and he put it around her neck and he tied it in the back, just like an apron that your mommy might wear. Or maybe you've worn one before. But this one's a special one because it's loaded with pockets. Well, she was so pleased and excited that she just couldn't even speak. She just stood still and looked down at the pockets and smiled and smiled and smiled. This was her dream. She wanted one pocket and she got a ton of pockets, and what? She just couldn't believe it. Well, by this time, a big crowd had gathered to see what Katy Kangaroo was doing, I can imagine. And when they saw how pleased she was, they all smiled too. And you can see in the picture, look at Freddie. He looks pretty happy. He's jumping up and down. He's so happy for his mommy and for him and this nice man. And you can see the crowd is smiling. There's children and adults and dogs and a little bit of everything. They're all smiling and happy for her and him. At last, Katy was able to say, remember, she was speechless. Finally, she said, "Thank you. Thank you," to the nice, kind man. And then what do you think she did? She popped Freddie into a pocket. She wanted to do that for so long. And she made sure that he was comfortable. And then she hippity-hopped home faster than ever before because, of course, she didn't have to wait for Freddie to catch up. She didn't have to keep looking back and then slowing down or hold his hand or whatever because he was too little. Now she could go so fast, and they even show a train from that, and a train going on the track, and she's going, looks like, faster than the train. Wow, is she happy? And look who's in her little pocket, right front center. Aw, he looks thrilled too. Happy Freddie. And when she got home, what do you think she did? Well, I bet she was proud to show off her apron. But you know, they had a lot of friends from the forest. Well, she had so many pockets that she put Freddie into the biggest one of all. But then she put, in the next largest, she put another friend from the forest, little Leonard the lion. And then Thomas Tortoise just fitted into another pocket. And I'm going to show you the picture before I read all of it. So you can see all the animals are running over the monkey, the skunk, the turtle, the possum, bunny, badger, squirrels. I mean, birds and everybody are just running. They're so excited. And a kitty and a lizard. Well, sometimes she had a baby bird. If its mother was busy at a worm hunt, she'd plop that bird in her pocket. This is in the future. In the future days to come. And there was still room for a monkey, a skunk, a rabbit, a raccoon, a lizard, a squirrel, a possum, a turtle, a frog, and a snail. Even a little snail. Here he is peeking out, coming up around the bend here. There was a pocket for everybody. And so now, all these happy animals are in pockets whenever they like to come and see Katy. All the animals love Katy's pockets better than any other pockets in the whole forest. And do you think Katy's happy? She sure is. And Katy Kangaroo is very happy because now she has more pockets than any mother kangaroo in the whole world. Right? Most mommy kangaroos, like in the background, are happy with their one pocket. But Katy's has a lot of pockets. And there's all her friends peeking out, and right in the middle is her happy son, Freddie. So that story had a happy ending, didn't it? The end. And the end shows the owl walking off with the book. I guess they're showing that he's a smart guy. He helped them out. Well, that's the end of our story, Katy No Pocket, and I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you soon.